Hey y'all, I'm CiCora Lee
And I'm Krispin and Welcome to Bestie Talk.
with your favorite bestie duos.
We have a hot topic for you guys today.
Yes, so let's get straight into it. If you all haven't been aware, recently the Shade Room posted about Brittany Renner. Brittany has made a change in her branding, and it looks like she's made some changes in her personal life. In August, she started to dress modestly, appearing with a hijab and other clothes that are covering up her physique. If you don't know, Brittany Renner was known for her physique and her exposure of self. And she kind of talked about how her modest change and her change serving Allah now has caused her to lose money financially. And she has some worries as to whether or not her and her son will be able to continue their lifestyle and just where they're going to get money from, basically. And so we want to talk about this because there are so many women who are being objectified. You know, there are a lot of Instagram models, fitness models, OnlyFans. And it seems like many women may have fallen prey to one of the same things that Brittany went through. So we want to talk about lessons learned from Brittany Renner.
Absolutely. Because there are so many women that feel like they have to expose their bodies just to one, get a man, just to make money. And we want to let you guys know, like, that's not the only way. Of course, she has a bang of body, started off as a fitness model. Beautiful. I love it. But a lot of people get it in their head, like, okay, so for me to get a lot of followers, get a lot of likes on social media, I need to expose my body. And women, we just want to let you know that you don't have to do that. It is okay with being modest, being wholesome, leaving something to the bedroom.
Yeah, I think it's best for women to just be who they really are. Like, of
Mhm.
course, there are some women out there who like the attention. And if that's where you are, then we're not talking to you. But we're talking directly to those of us who value ourselves and who know that there's something more deep inside. And Brittany's situation really touched home for me because I used to be a bartender and I started bartending and serving alcohol before I was 21. I started off in the clubs probably before I was 18. I know at about 18, that's when I started to kind of venture into the clubs. And I was into a fast lifestyle. I just so happened to be in situations with men who had money. And I did decide to choose those situations and jobs that paid me more. But of course, you know, in those type of situations, I was dressing more revealing and portraying an image that didn't really reflect who I am on the inside. So I can really relate to what Brittany's going through right now.
So, what made you get out of that lifestyle?
Really, God. You know, sometimes we get into things and it just gets beyond our control. And the people that were in my life, the men that I was dating, kind of influenced that. Me being a bartender, you know, I could make $500, $1,000 in a night. Whereas when I tried to work a decent job, like a regular job where I didn't reveal anything, I just made minimum wage, if that. And so to me, being a single mom, it was more beneficial to make the money. But in the end, I just got tired, you know. My son's father was killed when I was younger. I had a boyfriend who was killed. And I just looked at my life and I'm like, how did I end up here?
Mhm.
And I kind of had some run ins with rappers, and I was a part of, you know, connections with people and their entourage where they would be like, oh, we're going to be here at this place. You should come here. And I've had rappers to say, why are you dressed like that if you're not going to have sex? So apparently, I was putting out an image that wasn't who I was, and it just ran me down. Like it literally drained my soul. And it was just God. God just caused, not caused, my decisions caused me to be put in situations that allowed me to see this isn't the life that I want because I'm worth so much more.
Mm. I love it. I kind of want to touch on what you said about them saying, why are you dressed like that if you don't want to have sex? And I think a lot of women will dress very revealing, walking around, breast out, butt out. And when a man approaches them for sex, they get offended. But you have to look at what you're putting out there. Um, no one's going to approach you for sex if you're not dressed like it, you know? So, I mean, even though that may not be your intent, you might just like to wear your body out. You know, you put in that work at the gym and you want to show it off. But that comes with men approaching you for sex or for whatever other reason outside of truly wanting to get to know who you are.
I agree. And thanks for really emphasizing that point. There was a time in my life where I actually considered stripping. And I, went through applying at Hooters, and I thought that being a Hooters girl and going through that interview process was like the highlight of my life. Mind you, 10 years later, today, I'm writing products that go to the President of the United States of America, that goes to Congress. And I'm literally advising, our policymakers, and they're making international decisions based on the stuff that I'm advising them on. But 10 years younger, I was being subjected to, man. And I was going off of what I thought pleased other people to get a return. And it just really, it was it was not reflecting like my true value. And
Mm,
so for any of you young ladies right now who are looking to men to validate you, whether it's through likes or finances, I want you to know that the minute you stop showing your body, the business stops. You're not going to receive money, you're not going to receive likes, and you have to be okay with it. And so I say that to say it's always best to just figure out who you are and to stick with it, because there's so much treasure on the inside of you.
absolutely. And kind of when you get in that lifestyle, I would assume it's hard to get out of it because I saw a video clip. The lady said she was a stripper and they were asking her how long she planned to do that. And she said until she was like 50. So, yeah. And then once you do that, I feel like it's hard to kind of, you can't take back what people have already seen. So you've already put yourself out there. People have already seen you in the club, seen everything that God gave you. And then you want to go and work in corporate. And you just have to kind of consider those things for your future, especially if you have kids. Like, I don't I don't feel like I could ever strip because I'm like, what if my uncle or somebody walks in here? Like, how awkward would that be? But what kind of changed your mind? What deterred you from actually going through with it and doing it?
So it was just really my relationship with God. Like I would have dreams and I would see the people who were around me doing things in my dream. And then I start to see them doing it in real life. And so I knew that God was talking to me and he just kept calling me. Like he would send people to talk to me. I found myself writing prayers on napkins in the bar, giving them to people, asking people to like have their grandmother to pray for me. So I think it was just the fact that I really belonged to him that he saved me from that life. Because the first drink that I ever mixed and served, it was to Rocco the Rapper. And I didn't know anything about that lifestyle, but the enemy tries to take advantage of us who belong to God, like when we do go into darkness. And so I
Mhm.
feel like God was just calling me. And that's the only thing that really saved me out of it, because I could have easily gone into stripping or gone to work at Hooters and made money, but I would have totally missed my calling. Like
Mm,
it would have cost me my whole life and my purpose. And for those women who are strippers, I hung around strippers. Like I knew strippers, and it's an exhausting lifestyle. They do drugs just to get through what they're doing. They travel a lot. Most of the time they have pimps that they bring their money to and they feel like he takes care of them or supports them. And so I feel like with me just seeing those things, I just knew that that wasn't who I was. Like even though I was in certain situations and probably drunk or inebriated, um, God always kept me. Like I will always be able to say no. Or when I saw the crowd leave, I will always walk away. And so I feel like those moments were like moments in times of saving grace.
mhm. Yeah, because I don't feel like anyone should ever have to be under the influence to get through their shift or to make
Mhm.
money. All money isn't good money. A lot of times, fast money isn't good money, because that comes with a price tag. Like, people want to get out here and sell drugs. I mean, what comes from that? Either death or jail, unless you're just really good at it and you just skate by in life. But for a lot of people that are not, what comes from that? You're getting robbed. It's just a lifestyle. You have to constantly watch your bag. And then the people that love you, they have to sit there and worry about you, hoping that you come home at night and nothing happens to you while you're out in the streets. So I just want to let anyone know, like I said, fast money isn't always good money. You have to be okay with turning money down. Sometimes you don't have to sell your soul for money. Because when I feel like when you strip and when you um, sell your body or exchange sex for money, you're selling your soul for money.
Mhm.
And your soul belongs to God, and you just want to make sure you are honoring your body because it is a temple. And when I got into the mindset of just treating my body like a temple, I totally moved different. I don't let everybody touch me. I don't even let everybody be in my presence. I'm real picky about who I spend time talking to on the phone, but that just came from me learning to love myself and just kind of know my value and really look at my body as like, hey, this is a temple. Like, I really need to treat it as such. That's why I work out. That's why I try to eat right, because I need this body to look good and last long.
So that kind of takes us right over into our next topic, Bestie, of how to increase your value. And one of the things that you mentioned is you develop standards for yourself and you saw your body as a temple. And as believers in Christ, we know that our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Once you get saved, the Holy Spirit enters into you and he will walk with you and talk with you as long as you're walking with and talking to him. And so I think that that's one of the number one ways that women can increase their value and start to walk in like their purpose and their calling. We
Mm-hmm.
can't do it on our own. And we definitely don't want to subject ourselves to having to depend on man because men can be fickle. Like you said, you're not in everybody's presence. Like you don't let everybody come into your presence. And rightfully so, because everybody isn't for you. People have different energies and they believe in different things. And so you want to be with those people who are truly your people and are going to align with and accommodate your purpose. And that's one of the things that I had to be mindful of coming out of that life of darkness. I had to stop going into those places. I had to stop hanging around those people. The things that I used to be a part of and like put myself in, it totally changed, just by submitting to the leadership of the Holy Spirit and truly want to be saved for real and not
Mm-hmm.
just, confessing Christ, but to truly be saved.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, you have to stop hanging around certain people, because who you are, I mean, who you hang around is a reflection of who you are. I feel like, so if you want to be a woman of value, you need to hang around women of value. You don't ever want to be the smartest person in your circle. You want to make sure you're putting yourself around people that you can learn from, grow from, people that are gonna speak highly of you when you're not in the room. They're going to put your name out there for positions that you didn't even apply for, because you're letting your character and your value um, speak for you. And I think people have a hard time of letting certain friendships and relationships go. People feel like when you separate yourself from someone, it has to be like some type of beef, but that's not the case all the time. Like, a lot of times when I separate myself from people, it's nothing to do with them. It's all about me. I'm just trying to get to a better place. And I need to stop being around people that are influencing me to do things that are not of God. They're not challenging me to be better. They're not calling me out when I'm wrong or saying, like, hey, friend, should you really be doing that? So to develop value, you want to hang around with people of value.
Exactly. And once you start to like change your values and like your surroundings, you have to change your mindset because if the mindset doesn't change, you'll just keep going through the same processes over and over. So
Mhm.
it's important that we never arrive to this point of perfection. We're going to always continue to grow. We're going to always continue to be transformed, and we do that by renewing our mind.
Mhm.
Learn things that you didn't know. Unlearn the things that you learned that aren't beneficial for where you're going. I think that's a key thing that some people forget. Just like they choose to keep like friendships and relationships that are dead and not
Mhm.
allow them to progress, we have to do the same thing like with our mindsets. Like if you've always thought a certain way, just like me with money, I'll give you a prime example. So when I was early 20s, when I had when I was making the decision between Hooters and bartending or working at Olive Garden, which was a respectful place in comparison to other things that I was doing. I turned down Olive Garden because I could make 100 times that in the bar. You know, it was easy money, but it wasn't good money. And so I feel like my mindset had to change about me, not really even about money. It was about me first. And so
Mhm.
I think it's so important that we get healed from like our trauma and those past experiences and just unlearn all that stuff and just renew our mind. I think that's very important.
I think that's important too, to definitely unlearn it, but don't forget it because it'll help someone else. And I feel like God allows us to go through seasons in life so we can kind of meet people where they are. Because if you would have never worked at the bar or considered stripping or what have you, you wouldn't be able to connect to people that may be struggling and going through that and possibly help them come out of it one day. And I feel like everything we go through, a lot of times it's not even about us, but it's so we can learn and grow from it and help someone else. And we
That
don't
is
understand
so,
that while in it.
oh my
But
gosh, that is so good. I remember one time my pastor asked me about my relationship with God. And I just told him, I was like, honestly, I feel like everything that I've been through is to help somebody else.
mhm,
Because there I was at 22, and my grandma was like, "You've been through more stuff than people that are like my age, you know?" And I felt like at 22, I felt like I was in my 40s. Like life was just that hard for me at that point. But I knew that it was for somebody else. So
mhm.
that kind of confirms what you're saying. Like you feel like it's for other people to help them to come into God's light and into his goodness. That's really good.
Yes, each one teach one, I
Yeah.
believe.
And
Mhm,
something else that changed for me too in like increasing my value or leveling up, because I had been in a place where people always looked at the outside and the external. When I joined the military, I cut my hair off. I wasn't really wearing makeup and I became more disciplined with like physical fitness. So not to say everybody has to be that extreme. You know, I'm kind of extreme. If I
mhm.
go into something, I go all the way.
Do the most.
I go all the way. But I do think it's important to start to change physically as well. Because like
Mhm,
as our mindset changes, as we grow spiritually, you know, the physical is just our image and how we carry ourselves. And I feel like the way that we dress, the way that we walk, the things that we do on a day to day, whether it's working out or stretching or running, those things should change as well. And they should shift as well to truly increase your value.
absolutely. And I think another way to kind of increase your value is stop settling. Kind of, write your standards and don't stray from those for anyone.
Mhm.
No matter how lovely the situation may seem, if you know that that's not what you genuinely want, you have to be okay with letting things go. Because as you grow, everything and everyone won't be able to go to the next level with you. And that
Right.
comes with having value, having those standards and sticking to them. So,
That's a good one. And I would say, as you level up, just know that people are going to spin the block. They're going to see your light. They're going to say, "Oh, she's in a new place." They're not going to care. They're not going to care that you've grown spiritually. They're not going to care that you're disciplined and you work out now. They're not going to care that you have boundaries. They're just
mhm,
going to see you looking good and want to be attracted to that. And so make sure that those standards and those boundaries apply to the people that spin the block. Just ignore those that come back around again. Because if they were meant to be there, they would have never separated from you. That's one
agree.
thing I had to learn. And to be honest, that's something that I've kind of continued to go through that process because I used to trust people if I knew them when I was young, or like if I knew them from my childhood. I'm like, I know this person has good intentions. No, 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 no. If God allows you to continue your life and you see positive things happening without people that used to be in your past, leave those people in the past. Do not allow them to be a part of the you that is increase your value, because they'll tear it down.
Absolutely. I feel like people are seasonal. People are either lessons or blessings. And the ones that are lessons, you have to leave those in the lesson which you learned and move forward. Not saying that those people can't change, but like you said, if it was meant to work out, it would have never stopped. It would have never ended. So you just have to be okay with just seeing people for who they are in the moment. And I don't entertain anybody from my past. Like, that's one thing I don't do. Not even on a friendship level. Like,
Oh,
we
that's good.
no, we ain't friends for what? Like, I'm grown. I have the friends in my life that I want right now, and I don't need an ex from 15 years ago. Oh, Crispin, let's just be friends. No, no, there's
No,
no.
it reminds me of like Sodom and Gomorrah. The moment she looked back, she turned into a pillar of salt. She went
Mm-hmm.
back to the earth, back to the flesh, to nothing. And I just don't think that people in the past should be in the present in order
I
for us to keep moving forward.
Absolutely, because there's so much more out there for you in the future that doesn't involve your past. And typically, people in your past can't let go of your past, so they still see you as that past person instead of the person you've grown to be.
The people that knew you in the past will always see you as a person in the past, because that's who they want to believe that you are. Even if you're somebody else today, they want to believe that you're that common person, that's inferior, because it makes them feel good if they know you on a lower level. But when you
Mm-hmm.
truly increase your value and just grow, don't look at the people in your past. Let them believe whatever they want to. I think one of the biggest things of increasing your value is to stop caring about what people think. Like, once we start to do things for ourselves, now I'm not saying to be prideful, but I do think that in increasing your value, you have to be a little bit selfish. Like, you have to be focused on who you are and your destiny and your purpose, and just take that for that. But don't look at man for approval of who you are today, because
Mm-hmm.
they will never fully approve. And even if they do, it could be superficial. But I feel like that's how people fluctuate, is to care about, when they start caring about what other people think about them. Just let go of other people's opinions and do you.
Yeah, that's the biggest level up in life. That's the biggest freedom I feel like you'll ever achieve in life is stop caring what people think. Like, even with my social media management business, like, I have clients really concerned about, what are people gonna say about, people are gonna talk whether you're doing good or bad. And you have to get their thoughts out of your mind. If it's not stopping your pay, it should not affect your day. So that is like the biggest, I would say, level up is stop caring about what people think about you, because their opinions don't matter at the end of.
And I feel like that can stagnate growth. Like you said, some of your clients care about what people think, and your clients may actually have a real talent that the world needs to see. But if
Mhm.
they're worried about what other people are going to think about them singing or dancing, or, walking down the aisle in Walmart modeling, that's going to keep them stifled, and it's going to prevent the world from truly seeing their gift.
Mhm. I agree. And another level up your value is really learning to love yourself. And a lot of people may think they love themselves. When you really love yourself, when you don't care about what other people think, you don't care about who exits your life. You're not trying to please people. The only person you're trying to please is yourself and God and those that love you, whether it be your kids, but just really finding self-love. And I think when you achieve that, you're okay with the detachment from people. You're okay with people walking out of your life. You don't entertain foolishness as much when you start loving yourself, because it's like, I love my peace more than anything. So you're not going to come over here and cause turmoil. You know, I'll entertain
Mhm.
it a little bit if I really like you, because I know I be with the mess sometimes. But at the end of the day, if it's like a constant thing and it's affecting my sleep, my beauty, and my health, baby, I can't get no wrinkles. I can't
Okay.
from anybody stressing me out. So I think with that, like, it really took me going through bad relationships, going through domestic violence, going through letting a man verbally abuse me before I realized, like, hey, I don't love myself, because why am I accepting this? Why am I putting up with this? I don't love myself, and I want a man to treat me like he treats his mama, the ones that treat their mama good. And I try to be talking back to y'all mom. The ones that treat their moms good is how I want to be treated. When it comes to a relationship or like a friendship, you'll have some friendships where people will spite you and be jealous and do little shady things behind your back, and you have to be okay with letting people go, putting those people in a box, just seeing people for who they really are. Just really love yourself and know that you don't have to please anyone out here but the Lord.
So at what point would you say that you developed self-love for Crispin?
I would say it was after I went through my divorce, I feel like, because during that time, it was so bad to where I was even like suicidal. Like, I considered even taking myself out of here. And I was like, it's no way. Like, you ain't even love him like that. Like, let's be for real. But it was just the idea of, like I said, caring about what people would say. That image of like, oh, she's married now, she's not. Oh, what happened? Or just that feeling of abandonment. So it really took me developing a relationship with God and figuring out what love really was, and start displaying that with myself. I have to be patient with myself. If I'm getting big, I don't like the way I look, it's not going to change overnight. I have to be patient. I have to be self-disciplined. I have to get to the gym so I can get to where I love myself again. Love is kind. I have to be kind to myself. I have to stop judging myself and making myself feel down because of, X, Y, and Z. So I would say it took me getting good and grown to actually kind of develop self-love. What about you?
So I started developing self-love when I was about 25 or 26. I was speaking to a group of young girls, and they were like teenagers and younger. And I was just talking to them about waiting, about keeping themselves until marriage. And I told them my testimony. And at the end, there was this 12-year-old girl who kept crying. And I was like, baby, why are you crying? Like, I could not figure out why she was crying. And she was just like, you're so beautiful, but you've been through such ugly things. And that I felt like that was God speaking to me, because
Mm,
I never, maybe when I was younger, I saw myself as beautiful, but not really, because I used to be real nerdy and kind of awkward. So I got picked on when I was younger. And then as I matured and got older, I went through a lot in relationships. And so I didn't really even care about myself like that. Like, I know this sounds weird. It sounds weird to say it, but like when she told me that I was beautiful, it really pierced my heart. And I just started to tell myself, I am beautiful. And it
mm,
had nothing to do with the outside. It had everything to do with my heart and just my journey and who I am. And it
mhm,
took me being 25, 26 to get to that point. And a lot of that was because I did look towards man. Like in my teenage years, I looked to my son's father. Oh, does he want me? Oh, he's cheating on me, so I can't be anything, you know? And it just went downhill from there until
mhm,
that day when I started to like really act in ministry. That little girl did something for me. Like, even though I was there for them, she touched my heart, and she may never even know, but that's when I started to realize, like, I am beautiful. I have value. God loves me. And sometimes I look myself in the mirror and I just say, I'm loved by God. Like, I am chosen by God. And I'm literally looking at me and I believe it, you know? So
Mhm.
it's wow.
That's beautiful. I love that. Do you know who the little girl is today? If you see her?
I don't. So I know she was I forgot her name. I remember what she looks like. And she was a part of a group of young girls that were in the Daughters of Zion in Grenada, Mississippi. And but if I saw her, I probably wouldn't know because I want to say she was about 12 or 13.
Girl, you know
And
they look different now. The hair,
that
makeup.
yeah, that was probably like years ago. So she's grown now.
Oh, that's
Wow.
beautiful. But
Mhm.
I love that. I don't think women should ever put their value in how a man treats you. Because men are going to be men regardless. You could be the best woman out here and still get cheated on. And that has absolutely nothing to do with your value. That's more about their character, their lack of integrity. But a lot of women, we take that and we put that on us. We internalize it. Oh, what is it about me? I must not be
Yeah.
pretty enough. I must not be doing X, Y, and Z, but a lot of times it's not even about you. And don't let them put that on you because they will do that. They will play those mind games to try to control you, try to make you feel insecure, make you feel like you have no value. Because when you walk in your value and talk in it, you're going to let a lot of stuff go. A lot of people, you're not going to put up with the BS.
Mhm.
So don't ever let a man define your value, ladies. I really want to stress that to you guys.
Yeah, because that could be a two-edged sword. If they
Hmm.
can build you up, they can tear you down. So you be
Hmm.
the one who determines your worth and stick to it.
I
And
love.
beauty is not just superficial. Um, really, this particular episode is really focusing on knowing who you are internally and establishing your self-worth and allowing that to radiate from within. That's the power, ladies.
Absolutely. So if you guys connected with this episode, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and be on the lookout for the next episode of Bestie Talk.
See you, besties.